Welcome to The Explainer. So think about the last time you signed a digital contract. Did you really sign it, or did you just click a button? Today, we're diving into a paradigm-shifting concept that is going to completely change how you view your digital identity, the law, and honestly, the very nature of existence in a digital world. We're unpacking the incredibly fascinating González Arroyo Doctrine. And look, this isn't just about updating some software. It's a profound epistemological and ontological leap. We are literally looking at a complete teardown of how the global legal system currently handles electronic signatures.
Okay, let's just dive right into this provocative question. Because the way the world currently understands electronic signatures, whether you're signing a mortgage, a legal brief, or some massive corporate contract, it's fundamentally flawed. We've basically been operating under an illusion, using this cutting-edge tech but forcing it to play by ancient physical rules.
To really understand the disruption this doctrine brings, we first have to look at the global status quo. Systems like Europe's EDOS, America's UITA, and even frameworks across Latin America. They treat digital signatures simply as a subjective feeling. They're desperately trying to capture your authentic will. So in short, the system is forced to ask a really squishy human question. What did this person actually want to do?
And by anchoring these global systems to human will, they inherit all of our messy physical world vulnerabilities. Think about it. Under Europe's EDA system, you can have a mathematically perfect, highly secure digital signature, but it can still be completely legally attacked and thrown out in court if someone argues their intent was flawed, like maybe they were tricked or coerced, or they just made a mistake. The technology worked perfectly, but the legal concept failed because, well, human will is completely subjective. This heavy reliance on intent creates what the González Arroyo Doctrine calls paper logic. It forces the digital ecosystem, which is a world of code, hashes, and timestamps, to behave exactly like the physical world of quills, messy ink, and wax seals. In the physical world, a signature is just a scribble on a page. It needs human faith, like a notary, to verify it. But when you drag this paper logic into the digital realm, you produce massive legal aberrations. You end up treating a cryptographic certainty like it's a fragile piece of paper. Section 1. The disruption, the ontology of presence. So, to abandon that paper logic we just talked about, the doctrine proposes a completely new way of existing online. As Marco Antonio González Arroyo states, the FIREL system, which is used in Mexican electronic justice, is not a tool, it's not an instrument. It is your avatar. It is your literal presence on the network. When you enter a system with a certificate, the system isn't receiving a digital drawing of your name. It is mathematically recognizing you. This is a massive epistemological leap, guys. How do we actually know an act is valid? Right? In the physical world, we rely on human observation, memory, and faith. We just kind of hope the signature wasn't forged. But in the digital world under this doctrine, we rely on objective math. Your avatar certifies you are there, it relies purely on the system's mathematics, and the act is sealed with an immutable cryptographic hash. It absolutely cannot be destroyed. This isn't just a technical upgrade. It's a profound philosophical shift, where cryptographic presence becomes the ultimate proof of agency. Let's take an extreme example, like coercion. If someone forces you to use your digital avatar, traditional will-based systems would say, oh, the signature is void. But the González Arroyo Doctrine says, actually, mathematically, your presence was absolutely real. The legal act stands because you were there. Now the coercion, that becomes a completely separate legal issue against your attacker. But the digital act itself remains an undeniable, objective truth. And this builds to a lapidary truth. My FIREL is presence. It doesn't say what I wanted, it says I was there. The system doesn't try to read your mind to figure out your intentions. It just uses cryptography to undeniably prove your existence at a specific millisecond in time. Because presence cannot be delegated or forged, your digital avatar acts as an undeniable constituent element of your legal existence. You literally can't hand your digital avatar to a proxy. It's generated in real time. This means you can't just hand over a password like a physical power of attorney. If your active certificate isn't triggering the math in that exact millisecond, the signature simply won't happen. It's personal, it's inseparable, and it is entirely irreplaceable. Section 2. Will versus presence and the era of omnipresence. When we contrast these global systems, the divergence is just stunning. Europe's EIDAS and the US's UETA focus heavily on the non-repudiation of will or intent, that messy legal battle over what you meant to do. But FIREL operates entirely on the non-repudiation of existence. You simply cannot deny you were there. The active presence of the certificate guarantees the absolute presence of the user. It's mathematically foolproof.
Which naturally leads us to the most mind-bending consequence of the entire doctrine. In a physical world, one we inherited from ancient Roman law, documents travel, people travel. But if your digital signature is an inseparable avatar of your very being, where exactly does it go? Like, where does it live? Well, instead of carrying bags of physical paper to a single courthouse, your digital existence lives in the cloud. Or, as this striking quote puts it, I no longer carry my file. It is in the heavens. I am omnipresent. To a traditional lawyer, I know this sounds almost mystical, but it's a literal architectural truth of digital justice. Your digital file doesn't sit in a physical filing cabinet anymore. It's hosted on servers, accessible everywhere instantly. Think about the mechanics here. In the physical world, you or your signature had to travel to the legal venue. You had to physically present yourself to a specific court in a specific city. But in this new digital reality, the mechanics are completely inverted. Because your unbreakable avatar exists securely in the cloud, you can initiate claims in multiple jurisdictions simultaneously, all across the entire country. The whole dynamic flips. The venue, the court, the system itself now travels and converges directly onto your digital presence. The signature brings the world to you. Section 3. Math over human faith. Because the digital act is sealed by the system itself at the exact millisecond of execution, we no longer need human intermediaries to verify our reality. The system is the autonomous notary. In traditional law, you needed a human notary to swear you signed a document. Under the González Arroyo Doctrine, human faith is completely replaced by the cryptographic hash and timestamp. The machine objectively guarantees the absolute immutability of the digital act with zero human interpretation required. And this leads us to the ultimate truth of the doctrine. I am me on the network. On the network, my will does not exist. Faith does not exist. No one needs to verify. On the network, there are only immutable acts. It just beautifully summarizes how the cold, hard certainty of code renders physical world bureaucracy completely obsolete. So I'm going to leave you with this thought to consider. Is the legal world finally ready to leave paper logic behind and embrace the absolute certainty of the digital act? We have the technology, we have the cryptography, and now, through this doctrine, we have the philosophical and legal framework. This paradigm shift isn't just coming, it's already mathematically here. The only question is, when will our institutions finally let go of their paper illusions? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I'll see you next time.